Good morning, guys. This is Dandelion Song. I'm not usually good at getting videos out the same day, but I'm going to try to get this one out the same day. And the one that I'm putting up today, I know I say that's from yesterday, and I know that I address you as if I put it up the same day, so I'm going to have to work on that. But I saw so many numbers in this, and I was wondering last night, okay, what are they going to do? Because today's another 888. And I haven't done a lot of the gematria on this, but just I'm going to call this the first scoop, where you just go through and you just see this. So I just want to first of all show you that Virginia State and Interstate 66. And this is right before noon, which is, you know, like it's like the opposite of the, I don't know, the witching hour or whatever they call that, the daylight. But so what first I want to show you what popped into my head when I saw this Virginia in 66 was the ISIS picture in Washington, D.C. Let me pause it and I'll show you. All right, as we come in here, I still have my Solomon's Temple over here. This is what I saw. Her right hand goes to 66, and Virginia Avenue points at the Washington Monument, which is the conception vessel. I've just learned a little bit more this morning about the way that Freemasons think about resurrection. I'll talk to you about that probably in another video, but it has to do, it's more of a phallic religion. So this is probably an important thing to mention. I'm not sure that I know the whole thing here, but they have Virginia Avenue pointing here, and her hand goes to 66. And so this is showing up in this story. Also, as you'll see in this story, there are a lot of 6 9s, and we talked about 6 9s having possibly to do with the 816 numbers of the Georgia Guidestones and other Dillon Storm Rift tie-ins and that kind of thing. So let's go back and take a look at the article. All right, well, just in the first scoop of this, and I actually didn't want to do any gematria because there's a lot. You don't even have to put anything in here to see all these numbers, but I went ahead and grabbed this because they mentioned this phrase a lot. So here we have an 886, which is the same date that we've been talking about. And then down here we have a straight out in the simple gematria, which I think the simple gematria is quite powerful. I know there's a lot of more complicated codes and ciphers, but the simple gematria does tell you a lot. And so right here we have a 923. I do not think that is a coincidence. Let's go back to the article. All right, I just want to point out they always have strange names, and the reason why is because of the gematria. So I'm going to do this, but first of all I'm going to show you some more of these numbers. I don't think it's a coincidence that there's a 23-page manifesto. Do you think that's a coincidence? I don't think the 23 is a coincidence. All right, well, here we have the 404, which is the revelation number. That's in the Jewish gematria. And then down here you would have a 23, but it's also in a 13. Do you see the 13 mirror? Okay, so first of all, there's a 13 mirror, and there's also a 14 mirror. So the 13 mirror would be probably a sign of the way. Do you see how they think like this is like an art form for them? So I'm sure somebody's very proud of this. So it's a 23, a 13 mirror, and a 14 mirror, which is the 28. And here we have the 86 again. Not a coincidence. Plus, the 86 is kind of wrapped in a 13, and that's their M. The M is a really important number, and that's why we see the 13 here. You know, it's hard for. I remember I was rewatching another video that I did where the 432 came up, and I forgot to mention all of the sonic geometry associations with that. The associations are so deep that, you know, you could have a little 5-minute spiel on each association. That's how deep the codes run. All right, well, I had to run his name really fast. So we do see the 96, and we do have this extra 1, and there is an extra 1 in the numbers, and I haven't been able to explain what that exactly means. I don't know if it's their rule of Kollel, or, you know, if this is the 10, which is a way of saying Ra, because that's the X in the Roman Roman writing, and we see that in Truman Show as Ra a lot. Here is the 15, and that's the Freemason number. And then here again we have the 9 and the 1 that makes the 10. So, but I think the big number here is the 9-6, because this would be the 8-16. And this is the date I've been pointing to in a few videos past, and it's 13 days between this date and the market crash date, which was 8-6. Well, let's see. It's the 8-24, right? So something's going on. There's a little countdown here, but today is an 8-8, and that's probably why we have something kind of flashy today on the news. And I haven't watched any of the videos. I'm only just looking at the numbers, and I'm not a hoax expert, and I think we need more lexicon to describe the hoax. Like, what kind of hoax was it? Like, even if 2 people actually did die, if it was the CIA that killed them, that's still a hoax. So there's so many levels of hoaxery going on, and we don't have enough language to describe. These guys are like running circles around us in hoax land. Let me just show you numerology, Nostradamus, the Mayan calendar, Ark of the Covenant, these numbers, Order of Thelema. This is a religion that worships numbers, I guess. I learned that from the Zach Hubbard channel. Let me just, oh yeah, so this guy, in the simple gematria, okay, so I saw the date in his Jewish gematria, but in his simple gematria, he has a lot of interesting associations. Worship hell. So if this person really did pull the trigger, this was not a free person. He was probably mind controlled. Interesting. Okay. All right, so you guys on my channel probably realize that it is not a coincidence that we have a 6-9 right here. That's, for one thing, that's the opposite of a 9-6, which is the date that we've been looking at. They've been pounding this date on many, many forms. Maybe they're just going to do something weird on every ramification of the date. You know, maybe it's not going to be one big splashy thing. It's going to be a bunch of little rituals like this. But also, just from the 6-9, I have a video about my first word that birth and free were my first 2 English word decodes, and free is the FR, which is a 6-18, which is a 6-9, and that's the first 2 letters of free. And this is the keystone of the Freemasonry arch. And my study of this, having to do with ancient Mayan wisdom, has to do with this is the balance of the 4 elements. I don't know what the Satanists are up to with this. I don't know what they're balancing, and I think that we should kind of keep the Mayans separate from these guys, because these are a bunch of lunatics over here. So these names are important, and this place is important. All right, well, Bridgewater just on its own is symbolic. Something that combines 2 pieces of land over water. I don't have a lot of words to say about that, but that is the meaning of this. This is one Kollel rule off of 1776, which is the Bavarian Illuminati start year. This is the spiritual number. It's also a gateway number. It's the 108 number, but now it has a Venus gateway in it. That's a Venus gateway. I'm not saying that Venus is bad. I'm saying that they're using that symbolism for some reason. Here again, we have not only the 816 like I've showed you, but it's also the 96. Okay, so it's again and again and again. This is phi. These are the 3 digits of phi that it seems like there's their favorite 3 digits of phi. Let's go down and look at the English. Okay, Vladimir, New York City. So they're talking about New York City. They did kill 2. Or the story is about killing 2 journalists, so that's kind of a twin tower thing. That might be why we have twin symbolism, which is Venus symbolism, right? Here we have the Holy Double 8, Alexander the Great, more strange people. Oh, I can't help myself. That might have to do with the mental control that they have over their agents. So I just want you to see this, that this is a little bit like burning down 2 candles. Oh, and then he shot himself, so he was the 3rd candle. I don't know whether he lived or not. But anyway, I talked to you about candles, the 3 candles, and the 3 towers at 9/11, and this is Venus. I think this is symbolism that would be against Venus. Now, if you like 3 towers, this comes back to the to be or not to be, because the B is the second letter, but it's also the pregnant Isis, so she's the person who is not only the one person, but she takes the second person and combines it to a 3rd person, right? So she can embody the 3 within her. And also the summation of 2 is 3. 1 plus 2. So if you do the summation cipher, so that would be my first idea about why they are concentrating on 2 with the twin, but it also includes the 3rd. All right, so again, I don't know what really happened. If some people really died, I'm really sorry about that. I don't know what level of hoax this was, but we have a lot of strange numbers. So Parker is a 6. Adam is a 9. Okay, that is a 9-6 and a 6-9, and it's also the 8-16, 6-18 numbers that they like about phi. So we just need to look at this and see. And I showed you the Bridgewater Plaza, and we could go Bridgewater Plaza near Monita, and we would see something else. But let me just take Adam Ward. Now Adam is a very interesting. It's an M word, and I would need a piece of paper to show you this. ADA is a 1, a 22, that the digital root is a 4, and then another 1, and so that would be a 1 V and a 1. If this is a 22, which is a V, right? So picture that, squeeze it together, and it's an M, and then they have an M on here. And also the M is a what you call a palindrome, where you read it forward and backward. But in this case, it has the Illuminati, as I learned from Illuminatus Observer, read it forward as Eve and backward as Adam. But let's take a look at this name. All right, well, here, I already scrolled down to the English and the simple gematria codes. I think this is a misspelling. So I just wanted to show you the white and the horse, because the white horse in Revelations is I believe, I should probably really check this before I mention it too many times, but I believe it's the devaluation of money horse, and that's what is happening this week. All right, I just want to show you that this kind of matches the guy's lapel that I talked about yesterday, the 1012. Remember that lapel that we talked about? That I thought could mean jam. It just pops up again here in his Jewish gematria, and this is what I find is that the English gematria is, for me, it's more useful, but the Jewish gematria has spooky tie-ins. And I would like to use a pen and paper and go through and take the name apart, but there's probably so much here. So this is a 12 again with a 0, and it does kind of have an echo. It's like an echo of the Jewish. Besides being a 12, besides being that's the L, that's the golden rule, that's the bottom of the Freemason symbol. This is the 11, which is the gateway. I see the gateway right here. And we saw the gateway, the Venus gateway before. So this Adam Ward, let's look at the Jewish gematria. It does match up with a few things. Just so that we can be aware. You know, it would be great if I wish I had a memory. I could just, I watched Rain Man and I was like, okay, I don't want to be like Rain Man, but I would like a really good memory. That would be awesome. All right, so I just grabbed Parker. I was like, where's his first name? But then when I put it in here, I realized, okay, maybe they just didn't want to mess up these beautiful numbers with a first name. Are you believing this? Look at this. This is an 18, which is an R, so it's also a birth number. Remember the symbolism I taught you about the R. It's the opening of the V. So it's a manifestation number and a birth number, and then here is your 923 again, which is your 911, which is a burning down of the twin towers plus the 7th tower. Oh, I forgot. So in the last one that we just did, Adam Ward, I remember now that I saw a 7 in there. So that was building 7. Now I think the journalists were actually the twins. Let's look at the word journalism. But first, I know this isn't funny. It's not funny. Even when mind-controlled CIA agents kill each other, it's still not funny. Okay. Pandora. Oh dear. I don't like that one. I love black people. Gosh. Okay, let's go down here. Well, who's not surprised? Jehovah, husband, Beyonce. She's not a free person. Smith is a very... It's a crafted name. It's funny, it's kind of like a pun, isn't it? People. York. False flag. Eclipse. Are there any eclipses about to happen? Probably some certain dates, maybe, between this and an eclipse. Okay, so let me just scan this up. I saw something in quotations. There it is. Okay, when we see things in quotations, we got to look at that. Okay, so here it is. It's the 55. This number I just did this morning. I was looking at times, like seconds, minutes, and hours. And one of them was a 55. Here's a 99. And here's another 99. But this, I don't know if you can see this. This is also an 816. Do you see it? Because look at this whole thing. Like it's not a palindrome left and right, but it's a palindrome up and down. I mean, not a palindrome, but it has meaning if you flip it up and down. So that's how they see things, as above, so below. Guys, I'm not sure why Parker doesn't have a first name. I mean, actually, it's just about the numbers, but I'm not sure how they... Oh, here we go. They left her first name out on so many things. Here it is. All right, well, I'm actually a little unclear of whether Allison is the other journalist that died. But if they're leaving her first, if there is a woman and a man who was killed, that does also relate to the Twin Towers. But let's look at Allison Parker. There's an 8-6. This is the date of the market crash. And today is an 8-8. This is a 15, and that's a Freemason number. And here's a 13, and that's the M. So that's... Let's just take a quick look here. Freemasonry. Okay, that's why they made her name like that. That's why they did her name like that. Mickey Mouse is very important. Mickey Mouse is actually the god of death, you guys. He's actually a bat god. If you look at the ancient Mayan worshipping of the bat god, it's got big ears just like Mickey Mouse, and he has a necktie just like Mickey Mouse. All right, well, so this woman was not... I'm sorry that I do not know exactly what happened here, but this is a woman being interviewed who was shot in the back, and here's her numbers. And so we do have a 13 and an 8, and this 726 number, this is the number I saw yesterday, and I think it has to do with Revelations, and I was going to go back and check my notes about that, and I didn't get around to doing that, and I looked at my notes actually, and I didn't find it, so I have to go watch Zachary K. Hubbard's video again and see if I can understand what this is. But also on the surface, it is a 9-6, which ties into your 8, 16 numbers and your 69. And then this is a big number. Let's go down. This is it's a 3 mirror, so it's like a 33 for Freemasonry, but they love this, right? So I'm not sure, like, I think some of these different people were playing different roles. Since she was shot in the back, she could be the true innocent person here, but I'm not sure. It's just really hard to speculate. You know, they're not going to tell you the truth, so even if you understood the whole article, you're only going to understand what they want you to think. You're not going to understand, you know, anything about what really happened. Oh dear. There we go. That's what happens. And here, look at this number, guys. 233. Where did we see that 2 days ago? On the guy's lapel, right behind the 101. What was it? 101. 2. The jam. Are you seeing this? I almost want to write this down, because I'm not writing these things down. I'm just putting it in a video. This is an important thing to remember. I hope I can remember this. I'm trying to like figure out how I can memorize that. And these are all important. All those numbers should be memorized. Well, that was worth scrolling down for, wasn't it? I saw something else. Okay. I don't know if Nibiru is a hoax or not. You know, if it's a hoax, then Zecharia Sitchin, you know, built the whole hoax up. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a backup revelation plan for them to have something that's going to happen that everybody's just going to agree with. So I don't know. And I really don't think we can know unless we really have first-person evidence. But I do want to show you this is a 9-6 and a 6-9, and we've been seeing a lot of those numbers lately. And this has to do, there are a lot of people are saying that this is what's going to happen in September. And in fact, like they came out, somebody came out, I think it was Linda Kirby, before she took her channel down on accident. She said that she got a phone call from a family member of Homeland Security who said that yes, we are going to be hit with, I don't know if they were talking about Nibiru, but I think they were talking about a comet pieces. I haven't watched this. All right. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so before I press the button here, I just wanted to show you that Vicki Gardner is a little bit like a code for the Garden of Victory Garden. Okay, these codes, you know, they make the movies that you're going to go crazy looking at the codes because the codes are hard to see and you have to like squint really hard. These codes are splashing every direction. You know, you're going to get some on you. They're everywhere. So this is her title that I just put in. Took it out of the article. Just to see what we see here. Oh boy. And then there's this too. I'm going to say that this is the M. Or the M or the B, because it's the B is the 13 and the 13 is the M. So the B is the pregnant mother and the M is the Eve and the Adam and the 13. And we see that in the Georgia Guidestones, the 1313. It's also the 44. We have the 44th president right now. So I think when we see these twos that are just like, oh, that's an interesting number, and then there's a 2 there, I think that might be why the 2 is there. You know, it could be the pregnant 9-6 that's about to happen. Like if they have something planned on 9-6, then the symbolism of that would be it's unborn as of now, right? Their 9-6 plan is unborn. and their 915 plan, which is also a 9-6. And their 923 plan is right now unborn, which would be the sign of the 2, which is the B. And I know I've said the B is the 3. It's the summation of 2 is 3. This is why it's a magical number for them, to be or not to be. All right, this is the one I wanted to do. When they have a character evaluation of somebody like this, and it's in quotations, you want to look at this. I need to look at the whole statement, though, since they see how the whole statement is big and set aside. All of this is hypnotic. Like I told you in other videos, you are actually subliminally aware of the numbers. I'm just trying to show you so that your conscious can talk to your subconscious, but your subconscious is already aware of these numbers. So just looking at this page, you are already just digesting a frequency statement, and we're just trying to dig down to see what the frequency statement is saying. All right, well, we've seen this number before in, I think, numbers that I gematria today, actually. And then we've seen this before. And then this is the 15. This is the 15 and the 51 are Freemasonry numbers, and I think that there might actually be a direct gematria to it, to the word Freemasonry or Masonry or something like that. But this is like their little signature. But this is a gateway. So it's a gateway Freemasonry number. It means like something's coming through the birth canal. And then here we have a 6 and a 9. I don't know if this is how they kind of write it. If you put this all together, it's a 36, like if you add the 6 to the 30. That's a 36, which is a triplet of 666 because it's the 18, which is a 6 plus 6 plus 6, plus an 18, 6 plus 6 plus 6, plus the summation of 36 is 666. It's the only number that does that. And then also, if you add it, it's a 9, right? And if you also add all the numbers of 1 through 8, the summation of that is 36. That just includes a 9. And that's what makes 9 magical to these people, is that it's the all and the nothing. And here we have a 5-5 in the mirror. And a 44 with the 1 in the center. You know, the 1. Sometimes they say Obama is the 1 and Obama is a rock star. So you kind of just need to let some of your associations flow in, and then you sift through the associations to try to see which ones might be connected. I wanted to take a quick look here. We have the Torah Code. I really wished I had read the Torah and not the Bible, but that's okay. The 8th dimension. Reptilians. All right. Let's go down here. Alex Jones. I'm not sure what to think about Alex Jones. I don't think we can have clear boundaries. I don't think there's any clear boundaries on who's on which side. I think that there are good people who are born into these dark families, and they have a degree of how much they adhere to their original programming that they went in with, what their original intention was. So you really can't say who's on which side, and especially from the numbers, you really can't say. You know, sometimes I think if they haven't been killed or quieted, then they are allowed to speak, and you just need to keep that in mind. But there is protection too. You can get protection on this planet. So you just have to keep your mind open here, guys. All right, 9/11, that was worth scrolling down for, and the blood moon was really worth scrolling down for. We looked at those numbers, I think, recently. And we have the 9-6 and the 2. The birth of the 9-6. Now, okay, here, I'm just going to do a little speech here about 9-6 that I don't think I've done this one in a little while. Probably a few videos ago, like a couple weeks. Okay, so the 6-9 is the F and the R, free. That is the 618th day, the June 6th. 6/18 is June 6th. Sorry, God. Excuse me. June 18th is the F and the R, okay? Now, June 18th is the 169th day of the year. Okay, so the 100, with 196 remaining. Okay? I'm really sorry I can't give you a visual on this. So, June 18th is the 169th day of the year with 169 remaining, and these are the FR numbers. This does have to do with the 816. Okay, just try to keep that on the like the back table of your mind. Here, the 96, this is a G. In my way of thinking, this is the first two letters of God, which is G-O. It means, I think it means to go down from the 9th to the 6th. Like from the Anunnaki, they called themselves gods, and I think what it really meant was that they came from a higher dimension down, and then they got stuck. But I'm going to explain to you why. Because the 196th day of the year, which is the anti-date of June 18th, the 196th day of the year is July 15th, 7/15. That was the first day. That was the first official day of Jade Helm. Now 7/15. I'm really sorry. I wish I could like write over here. Maybe what I should do is get used to pulling out my doodler pad for you. Okay. Well, anyway, we're on 7/15. Okay, I'm going to pause it and try to get my doodler pad up for you. All right, well, this might be worth it. Excuse my handwriting, though. Oh, and excuse the slowness of my computer. Actually, I don't think this is going to be worth it. All right, well, I'm not going to edit that out. So 7/15, let's do it in our minds. 7 is the G. 15 is the O, so those are the first two letters of God. And then the 4 is the D, or the dome. That's what you could say is the time trap that we are in. So that here we have the birth of the G-O. Now, I think the Illuminati are maybe thinking goat here, G-O-A-T. The Jewish people, one of their high-up rabbis has come out to say they are expecting a Messiah in September. I think the Islamic people they had somebody come forward to say they are expecting a Messiah. So, I mean, I think we should have a potluck because there's going to be some Messiahs showing up. Hopefully they're nice people. Francis Bacon edited the King James Version of the Bible, if I'm remembering that right. So I'm going to show you a few more of these. A little bit on the Bible. I know that people might think that I'm hard on Christians. I love everybody, and I do not blame the Christians for being decent enough to think that other people are decent. But now you need to take a hard look at the Bible. You need to take a hard look at your church, your pastors. I believe all those pastors are in the Freemason church. I believe the Catholics are all Freemasons. Excuse me, I just saw a video. Let me pause this. I'm going to show you these two videos I just watched. Okay, this one. This guy talks about different kinds of Freemasonry, and then there's one type of Freemasonry that has 360 degrees, and then you're equal to Satan if you get up to 360, and he only went to the 90th. But he talks about it, and he talks about how Baptist ministers are Freemasons, how the Catholic Church, they made a show of if you are a Mason, then you're excommunicated from the Catholic Church. That's just controlling the opposition. He talks, I think that's him. He talks about how the popes are Freemasons. So, and here's the other one. There's a part 1 and a part 2. Right there. So, let me go back to my thing here. Maybe here. Yeah, so what I want to say is, if you follow Yahshua, the teacher, I believe that what happened is you had a bunch of crooks and, crazies and Satanists on the planet here. And then we had some prophets come through various different places, and one of them was named Yahshua, and they were all, maybe not all of them, but at least Yahshua was a really good teacher with a good heart. And when Yahshua talks about the Father, that's the Father that probably you want to pay attention to, and maybe not, Jehovah or Yahweh. and that also could be a distortion, because everything that he said was written in the Bible and it was edited by Freemasons. Okay? Freemasons who killed anybody who opposed them. Well, anyway, the guy, the 90th degree Mason, he points out that even in the New Testament, in 2 places, it says that Joshua tells you should not take oaths. Well, when you go into your Christian church, that's what you're doing. Anytime you do especially a Catholic church, for sure you are taking probably 20 oaths within an hour. But I grew up in the Catholic Church. But in a Christian church, too, those call and response, when you say something back, or even if you say an amen to something, you have agreed to an oath. So that is against the teaching of Joshua. So people really need to take a hard look at that. That's just my quick aside right here, because I feel like sometimes I need to clarify, because I am hard on the Christian church. I think that you need to run screaming from the Christian church and the Catholic Church. Get out of the church. Joshua did not go to churches. He was not Christian. Okay, so back to our story. So I don't know, this looks like a twin tower burning down. This looks like kind of what I talked about with the birthday cake, that they're burning candles down. I just wanted to show you, because I scrolled down immediately and I was like, I don't even have to do gematria on this. There's so many numbers in here. So there was a 23-page manifesto, and then we have here in the article, this is in another time, since they include it in the article, this is how you know that they want these numbers out here. So we have the 11, we have the 2, the 9. This is a Venus gateway, 9, and it's a 932, which is kind of the same as the inverse, which is a 923. And I've also talked, if you're new to my videos, thanks for watching, and I'm going to get better at making these things shorter. But this, I believe, is an upward-facing pentacle, which is the evolution of man according to the 5 elements, which it includes spirit, the Holy Spirit. And I believe the 23 is the downward-facing pentacle. So that is why this 923, I think, has an ominous feel to it, because I think that at least if the Illuminati, if the Freemasons did write the Bible, and it's basically predictive programming. You think of these guys, maybe they're Anunnaki and they live for a long time, so to them 2,000 or 4,000 years is just 2 years. You think that they're going to write a prophetic document and then they're going to help it come true. They're going to create a time where evil rules the planet, because that's what you would do if you were an evil person and you get to write the book. You're writing the prophecy, right? So there's a time where evil is loosed on the planet. Well, that's what they talk about in Revelations. There's a time. So I'm tying that back to the upside down pentacle, which is the 2, 3. And the reason why I think this is the right side up one is because reading left to right, if the 3 points of the pentacle are up, that's the upward facing, and the 2 are down. If it's a 23, then the 2 are up and the 3 are down. So that would be a de-evolving man. That would be a falling human being. Okay, I'm just going to pause for a second. Okay, so again, I hope that nobody innocent really died here. You know, anybody, even non-innocent people. I hope nobody died, but it's hard to tell. But these numbers are amazing. So we have 9 months. This is the boyfriend talking. They were very much in love. We could look at all this. 9 months of their lives. And they just celebrated her 24th. So there's your 924. And they also are, do you see how the symbolism of this story kind of underlines the idea of it all comes to a screeching halt, you know, it all comes to a screeching halt on the 24th. And this is also the 6 of symbolism too, but it's the, so 924 would be a 9-6, right? If you did the digital root of this number, and that's the GO that we're talking about. That's 7/15, the start of Jade Helm, and it's the 196th day, and it's the opposite of 6/9, which is the top of their Freemason arch. That's the keystone, so it would be the opposite of the key, right? So it would be like, you know, kind of maybe the Antichrist idea, or the bottom of the arch. You know, if there's a top, then there's a bottom, and this would be the bottom of the arch. Okay, again, I hope that no innocents were actually killed. You know, this is just a crazy world, and we have to question these things. And one of the reasons why they make these stories so tragic is that when it's very tragic, and you are a compassionate, feeling human being, and you're decent, it stuns you. And this goes to their like trauma mind control programming. It's a mild control of what they do to their agents, where they traumatize and they use that traumatic moment to install programming. So this is a mild version of this. This happens in movies all the time, where there's something traumatic happening. Sometimes even a strobe is happening. But if there's a traumatic moment where there's something really bad happening in a movie, right then the gematria of those words and the symbolism of that is something that's programming. It's bypassing into a deeper place of your subconscious because of your traumatic numb state. So they know how to use this. So I want to point that out, because a lot of people will say, how can you be so cold to point this out when people might have died? Because human beings are decent, they have their decency used against them. So they are going to give you something traumatic to paralyze your ability to cognate this, where you're going to be so shocked you're going to just ignore all the 9s and 6s and 23s and 24s, and you're just going to be like, wow, I live in a dangerous world. I should just keep to myself and not speak out. So I just want to say that. I think we just need to set our hearts that we will overthrow these Freemasons. Satanism will come to a screeching end on our planet. You know, or we will have diverging timelines, and they can go and have their satanic timeline, and all of the people who don't want to be on that timeline can go to a different timeline. And I'm hoping the Christians will be there too, but I think you got to break some oaths. You might need another lifetime to break some of your oaths. Now, I did a timeline video, and it's on my unlisted video blog. So if you want to know more about timelines, ask me for me to add you to that list of the unlisted video blog. All right, guys, sorry this was a long one. I'm going to try to get better at making short ones, but I think that we did pack a lot of understanding in here, and I wanted to give you the clues so that you can bring up this page, which is www.gematrix.org, and you can come here and copy and paste and write things down in your own notebook. If you did 30 or 40 of these, and then you like draw some on the left-hand side and some on the right-hand side, you draw lines between the numbers, and you will find a lot of patterns here, and they're going to connect to other news events too. All right, love you. Hope you're having a good day. Talk to you soon.